Welcome to a new episode of Analog Diaries. Last week we were out shooting with the Hasselblad X-Pan and the Fujifilm T-X1, and in this video Ewout is going to teach us how to develop the film. We are going to do everything from loading the film onto the film spool, developing it and seeing the end result. And in the process Ewout will share a lot of practical tips and tricks which will come in handy when you are going to develop your film yourself. This episode is brought to you by No Digital.
This is going to be a little list of the things you'll need to develop film in no particular order. First of all, a developing tank. This one holds two 35mm film spools. Great to start out with. Film spools, put your film in. Pair of scissors, something to take the film out, something to mix your chemicals in. Chemicals, and last but not least, film.
With
exposures. Exposed film.
So you have to take photos first
and then you develop. Yeah. Chemicals a little bit more precisely than just something to mix them in. So that's these.
All right.
Yeah. Alrighty. So first things first, we're going to mix our chemicals today before we touch our film or anything and put them in the developing tanks. We're going to use analogue as a developer, and we're going to use Rapid Fixer by Ilford for our fixer. This can be very complicated. You can use a million types of developer and fixer, but we're going to touch just the basics today. So we're just going to do all the basic developing needs that we have here, just to keep it simple. One of the scary parts, or one of the parts that might seem scary when developing your film, is mixing the chemicals. My advice is read what it says on the tin. If you can't read what it says on the tin, find something on the internet. And it's easy. This is the standard development for the standard solution for analogue is 1 part analogue to 25 parts of water. So if you want to have a liter of developer, you divide a liter by 26, and that's how much analogue you need, and just add water till you have a liter. Easy peasy. Ja, maar dat is even So first part's complete, chemicals just standing over there, they're happy sitting in the tub. Next part is getting the film out and spooling it onto the film spool. Now, there's a couple of ways to get your film out of your canister. One of the most common ways is just to break the cap with a bottle opener, or you can use the nutcracker bit on your scissors just to whack it open. It'll break your canister, and you'll have to do that in complete darkness. The second way is by using one of these fidgety toys. It gets the film out for you, just a little beginning part, and it makes sure that you can load a bit of the film onto your reel without having to be in total darkness, which makes the process that much easier. So there's two parts of this. It actually speaks for itself. It has a part that goes in first and a part that goes in second. So what you do is you get this piece and you just slide it into the opening of your film canister. Just like that. It shouldn't use any force. It should just slide in, and if it doesn't slide in, you just twist a little knob at the end. So that's in, as you can see. Now we turn the knob towards yourself in order for the film to be sure that the film tip is underneath the first part you put in, just like that. Now there's a second bit which has a little curl downwards, and you put that in as well. This is going to make sure it goes underneath the film tip. So you chuck that in like that, and then you pull out, and you have your film tip right there. So next part is putting the film onto the film reel. Just a little side note for everyone, I would never ruin film. So this is a used roll that came out of a camera that we got in. So it's already been exposed and I know what's on there. So that's why we're using it to test it, just so you know. So what we do now is you have the lip, and we're going to want to cut that off. So you take your pair of scissors and you snip that off right there. This is all unexposed film. So if you do this yourself, it's fine. This is the part that goes into the camera when you're loading it. So you don't have to worry about losing any images on this. So you get your shears or your scissors and you snip it off right there. Make sure it's a straight line so it's easier for yourself. You get your film reel. Make sure this is very, very dry. That's the tip I want to give you. You want to have this very, very dry. So if you live in a humid environment, use a hair blower to dry it first. Otherwise the film will stick, and you don't want that. So what you do is you put it through like that. And now you're ready to rumble. And if you don't use this thingamajig, you have to do this bit all in the dark, which is, well, that much harder and more horrible. So once you have your film neatly tucked in and it doesn't come out like this, so if you tug it gently, it doesn't come out, you know you're set to go. So now you want to go to total darkness and put this somewhere dark because the film's going to come out that you've exposed yourself. But for the purposes of this demonstration, I'll show you what happens when you actually load the film and try it. So what happens is with every time this thing has two moving parts basically. And what you do is you move one part over the other and it drags the film forward and then it slides back and it grabs onto it. Just like that. And it slides the film around into these spools. So it slides it all the way around. And you shouldn't feel any friction. If you feel any friction, you want to stop and you want to break the wheels apart, take your film out and try it over again. Or roll it back up into the film canister and make sure your film reel is very dry. Because otherwise, if you crease the film or something, it's just going to cause weird effects on your film that you don't want. So at one point you're going to feel that the film is no longer coming out of the canister. Don't force it because it's done, it's over. It's going to take a little while and because there's a lot of film in there. So what you want to do now is get your pair of scissors again, do this in the dark obviously, and you're going to want to cut it as close to the film canister as you can. So you take it as close, and if you're in the dark you have to feel it. So you feel for the shears or the scissors and you feel for the end of the canister. Don't cut your fingers and you just snip it off, just like that. Take your film, spool it up 2 or 3 times more, and you put it in the film development tank.
How?
So you have that in the darkroom with you yourself, so preferably you want to prepare. So you want to have this somewhere where you know where it is, or you want to have it in the tank with you, in the tank in the bag with you. This bit consists of, well, for our demonstration, it's 2 important parts. The little chimney where the film goes on, and then the lid, which is very important. So if you just put the film in and put the lid on, there's a huge hole in there, it's going to leak light and it's going to ruin your film. So you want to have this bit, chuck it in the middle, you can feel it slide on, just like that. Put it in your tank, put the lid on, and you want to turn until you hear click. And if you hear that, this is secure, and you're all good to go. And now you can take it out in the light without worrying your film getting leaked. And this is a tank that holds, it's a relatively small tank. So now I put in 135 mil. You can actually stack 2 35 film reels on top of each other or do 1 medium format reel. So it's a very versatile little tank. And a good beginner little tank as well.
And it's on the website.
And it's on the website. It's for sale at www.nodigital.com.
Now it's time to load the film for real. Remember that it has to be pitch black. Doing this for the first time is a bit challenging. I had some trouble with my reel, so I had to start over again in the darkness. At one point my smartwatch lit up and Ewout was afraid that that roll of film would be ruined. Let's develop it and see if it really is.
I see the blue light on your thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's turn it on.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Oh,
And the
right.
Lord said, let there be light.
All right, now what?
Now what? Now we start the developing.
Let's do it.
Let's go for it. So, what's next? We have 2 development tanks which take half a liter of liquid each. We made a liquid each of developer and our fix. So I divided those into half a liter bunches. So what we're going to do now is we're going to rinse the film off, then we're going to develop it for a certain amount of time, we're going to rinse that off, and then we're going to fix it, and then we're going to have our film.
So step 1, rinse the film with plain water. You do this to get the film wet and to get rid of any air bubbles that could stick to the film when you start the development process. The tip here is to gently bang the development tank to make the bubbles dissolve. Step 2, after you've emptied the tank from the water, is to pour in the developer and to start agitating the film. We have used this chart, but as Ewout said, the process varies with every film stock, so read what it says on the box or find the correct way of developing your film online or in an app. Step 3, when you are done developing, is to put the developer solution back into the measuring cup and rinse your film with either a stop bath or water. We just use regular water. Both will stop the development process. Step 4 is to add the fixer. In this process you make the film no longer sensitive to light. If you don't use the fixer, the film would still be sensitive to light, so up until this point you cannot open the development tank. We are fixing the film for 4 minutes.
You want to agitate a little bit. All the purists are going to say it's going to be very important to agitate it in a proper amount of time and everything, but it doesn't. It's not that precise. It's more of a feeling than a real science. So everything's fixed now, so the film shouldn't be sensitive to light anymore. So we're going to pour out the fix, and then we're going to take out the reels and rinse them in some regular old tap water.
So we had one tiny situation because during the loading of the film, my smartwatch all of a sudden lit up. And Ewout is saying, yeah, the film is fried, so
There's nothing on there.
nothing
I don't
on
think
there.
there's anything on there.
And I do not want it to be true, so this is the moment of truth.
This is the moment.
Let's see what the smartwatch did to it.
Oh, I'm nervous. Are you nervous? Oh, it's got film on there.
Yes.
Oh no! It actually worked. Wow. Okay, that's
Eat it. Eat my head, man.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna cook that up with some potatoes tonight.
And that's how you get properly exposed film. Everything we've used in this video is for sale at No Digital, so if you want to start developing film yourself, check out their website.
Awesome, yeah.
And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. Ewout has also made a contact sheet of our negatives that came out great, and we decided to give it away to one of our viewers. So if you want to receive the contact sheet, subscribe and comment on why you would want it. In the next video, we are going to take portraits with a technical camera, so stick around on this YouTube channel and I'll see you in the next video.